Hello and good evening from a rather pleasant I-90 BS. I'm trying to keep washing out the picture. Anyway, yeah, okay, I've not done a posting or anything lately because I've just been flat out with university work and work, the stuff that pays for all of this stuff. But yeah, I have been doing quite a lot. And I think today is going to be a bit of a tour of comedy, but at the same time it's really fascinating how it's all turning out. So let's start here, being careful not to show my washing line. Okay, so this is like a UK antenna Zenfed antenna. I've had this up before, properly I should say, whereby I used two DX Commander Classic poles, routed it to the very front of the left hand side garden and across my front garden. Yeah, and it worked really well, even though it had a bit of a, not a right angle, but did have an angle in the wire, just simply because it is so long. But as you can see, this does the whole 10 to 80, and the SWR on each of those bands is fantastic with this antenna. But at the moment, why I've got it set up is that I've got it going into my trusty Kenwood TS690, which I'm not using for transmitting, although it can. I'm using it to receive WeFax pictures for my university assignment. So really all this wire is doing is just picking up very strong signals from Hamburg, and it's doing the job, which is the most important thing. But it's kind of funny, it just goes around the garden at this height over the greenhouse, along the back and along the front garden, but you wouldn't see it, just blends in with the bushes. But you know, it's doing its job, it's picking up WeFax pictures, and that's all I really want to do. I can listen to the radio as well, which is really nice. I have to say the TS690, the filters and the clarity on it, I'm really glad to have it back up and running in the shack again. But yeah, this antenna has enabled that, and I've just got it grafted onto my well, I should say my VHF mast, but it hasn't got anything VHF on it, which brings us to the next funny thing. Here we are. So I've ordered this tri-band Yagi. It does 77s, 2 meters and 6 meters. I've got a Yaesu ft690, I think it is, and I've ordered the CT CSS squelch unit, and because there's a 6 meter repeater about 50 miles from here, and I've heard, you know, even with the low solar activity, with a decent antenna, which I think this one is, once it's up on a rotator on the proper mast, it will do a good job. At the moment I've got my buddy pole just so I can get it up, get the antenna up and do some measurements on it. I've just used my buddy pole mast and whacked it on that. And what's really comical, I thought, yeah, you have to try it, you've just got to, is that, like, I went on to FT8 with my IC705, transmitted, and this antenna at this height, which, I mean, I can touch it, I mean, I'm at that height, yeah, it's about 1.8 meters high, if that. It's, yeah, and it reached Cornwall. You know, this is like supposed to be line of sight, but I think that shows how good the direction is on it. So once it's up and on a rotator, I'm really confident this antenna is going to be something else. I've only ever used the J pole, which you can see in the background there, on 2m77s. It's been good. I've been using that one. That's on that awful mast. I managed to find some use for it. I put some Jubilee clips on each section, and that's managed to keep it upright. And it's a terrible mast. It doesn't stay in place if I don't put those locking Jubilee clips on. But yeah, I've been using that for scanning 2m77s and the local airport. It's been quite good fun listening in. So yeah, that's what that's there for. But back to this Yagi. One of the things which was interesting, and nice chap on the Discord server taught me about, was I'd never seen these before. It's the first time I've had like a dedicated bit of VHF antenna. There's these this is a N-type adapter here, so that's so I can plug in my SA239, and that's an N connector behind there. But what I've got for it, I'll need to make up a patch cable when I do this properly. Anyway, 1 minute, let's get around this side. Let's see, there we are. I've got one of these chaps, the triple X, I think it's called. So yeah, it will take the 2 meters, 77s and 6 meters all into one cable. So this will eventually be near the antenna situation. So it's got a very nice sticky patch on there. I imagine it can even go on here. Go somewhere's on here, I think. Maybe someone can leave me a comment on the best place to mount it. Stick it on and strap it on with some, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I mean the SWR on this antenna is, on 2 meters has been fantastic. On 6 it's been good as well, but I've not been able to test 70 yet. I need to get a patch cable. The only thing I would say I was a little bit disappointed about with this antenna was I've had to make some. It was missing these bits here, and I've had to like fabricate my own. I went to the local DIY shop, B&Q. So this was my first attempt. It's just like just to get some measurements on the ground. But these plate hangers have done really well. That's held in there pretty well. But I have emailed to the guys that make this. They're Dutch based, ironically, and the name of it. Anyway, I've emailed them, and I'm expecting to receive the these proper connectors. I won't be putting up in the air before any time before. Yeah, a bit disappointed about that. It's not an expensive antenna, but it's not a cheap one, and you expect it to come with all the parts. Assembly was okay. I've never done this before, so I found this bit confusing, I don't mind saying. But yeah, once you see it, you understand how the principle of it. So this moves up and down, and that adjusts the SWR on 6 meters with that pole. As you move that adjustment, it will change whereabouts the dip is and the dip is in 6 meters. Okay, so yeah, this is rather funny, but yeah, my plan for this is hopefully depends how busy I am during the week, but in all honesty, it'll probably be next weekend sometime. So I do have a rotator. It's a cheap one, an RCA one, but I'll go with that first and see whether it works at this height before putting it up on the big mast I just showed you, and see how she goes really. So yeah, looking forward to trying it out. So let's have a bit of a wander around. What else we got going on? So here we are. Here's We have a 2-meter antenna, which I've been using on the IC705, and this is what I've had to do to so it stays up. And I have cut my hand on this bloody Jubilee clips, but it's the only way I can get this to stay up. It will not lock, this flaming antenna. It just, you know, I've guided it down pretty well, so yeah. So these ropes are pretty tight, and it needs to be guide the base and the top section. Yeah, don't get a lot of action on 2 meters 70 cents. There's local repeaters down here, sadly out of operation, but I heard some activity on 70 cents the other night, which was interesting, just to listen to. There we are. Okay, and there's my mini whip. I was going to set up a web SDR as part of my web assignment. I've not been able to get the software. I may do a AirSpy server instead. That's all up and it works quite nicely. I'll put it through my HackRF SDR, and yeah, it's all set up. So I've got a PVC pipe, mini whip on the top, active antenna, the feed wire going in, earth there. So that's a copper pipe which I've buried. I've dug a trench on this one. And that works, you know, works okay. I wouldn't use it as a on the MFJ noise canceller. It doesn't seem so good on the HF frequencies. So yeah, but for listening to stuff, it's an impressive little bit of kit. Yeah, on your general bands, it seems to pick up loads, especially on long wave, medium wave. Yeah, those kind of shortwave listening bands. It's good, but yeah, 70 cents, 40 meters. It was quite weak and noisy. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. What else have I got? I don't know if I've mentioned this weather station. It's been so long since I've done a video. So anyway, yeah, I've got this weather station which I'm using for my. So it provides two things. One, it tells me how fast the wind's blowing, and it does get windy down here. But obviously it's got a lot of other stats on it as well, like rain collection, wind direction, UV. And I'm collecting all the stats for this and using it as part of my assignment. What's it got a whispering thing yet? No, God almighty. Anyway, but I'm using the stats. I've written all the scripts, which are on GitHub. If you look up my name, you'll see the scripts for pulling stats from this and putting it into a Postgres database. So yeah, I'll be using like jQuery, Node.js, JavaScript and CSS to make a nice website with these stats in. Yeah, I forgot, go back to this. So up there you can see underneath the mini whip is a 40 meter dipole. You can just about see the wire maybe running along. That's hooked into a Raspberry Pi, and it produces, I think, like 0.10 of a watt. It's almost nothing. I hope this is recording.